Hello everyone. Here's the fun-up posture of the DIY program, Sonata Refurbishment Series. Today to come to this Sonata to do a big upgrade, replace the more practical features, more large screen car machine. I believe that this for a lot of open old, or just bought the first used car of the old man. Is very useful after all. The last generation of the car's CD player and the manual radio. It is really too difficult to use. And the do-it-yourself to him to do an upgrade is actually very simple. Really have a hand on the line. Then we will start. First of all need to prepare the tools, or as always simple, respectively, is the tape insulating tape, nerd wrenches, screwdrivers, interior panels, snap warps, scissors heat shrink cable tubing, WD-40 precision electrical cleaner, as well as a suitable for you to car does not work for a large screen car machine. This kind of car machine, in fact, a single purchase is very cheap, and the repair shop or Ford's shop to be cheaper, repair store or Ford's store to be much cheaper. So I strongly recommend that you do it yourself to upgrade, because this is really cheap. The first step to remove the center console of this piece of interior panel. Because this big screen car machine, we will be to install it in this position. So be sure to take off this piece of interior panel. In order to replace it into the removal of this interior panel, first to use is the interior version of the buckle warping board. The first step is to use the interior version of the buckle warping board. The first step is to use the interior version of the buckle warping board. The second step is to remove this piece of the interior panel. Of course, if you are not too skilled, in order to prevent prying the bad interior panel, you can also use plastic. But as a jerk car veterans, with the iron will actually be faster. Then first of all the interior panel buckle plate. Insert it into the gap in the interior panel in this position. And then directly pry it loose. Like this, you can take the buckle warping down. Then you can use your hand to slowly buckle this interior panel. Buckle it outward, because this is actually all some of the inside of the buckle. The buckle can be slightly active on it. Okay, so the entire interior panel are all loose. And then there should be some wires inside. So we take it out a little slower. And then the interior panel as a whole, so that you can pull out from the center console inside. You will see that the back of it, inside pull out, you will see that it is actually behind a lot of plugs connected to the front of some of the control buttons. So we are now the first to pull out all of these plugs. First of all is the air conditioning temperature regulator plug, and then pull out the air conditioning panel plug, followed by air conditioning air volume plug. The following three plugs are pulled out after all the panels can be lifted, and then pull out the upper time display plug and dual flash plugs. This can be a whole center control of the interior panel, all moved away. The second step to replace the car machine. Then to remove the car machine is actually more simple. A total of 4 screws in these 4 positions. The first, second, third, fourth. And then you can take the whole car machine from the inside of the pump out to the attention of the back of this car machine. There is still a car machine power and control line. Another one is the antenna plug. Then still the 2 wires are pulled down. Okay, so that the old car machine out of the hole. And since these things have been removed, of course it's heated. Especially each plug inside the metal terminals, because as an old car, plug inside the metal terminals, more or less rust and oxidation of the situation occurs. So the situation will lead to the center control panel. These conditions will lead to these buttons on the center panel. Appeared not work. A lot of old cars have this problem. In fact, only need to use precision electrical cleaner to rinse the plug on the line. This cleaner can be operated with electricity because it is non-contaminatic and fast penetration and rapid evaporation. There will be no residue. Can be safely used for a variety of plastics. Rubber and metal surfaces, so very suitable for rusty plugs, malfunctioning remote control contacts and circuit boards, etc. Precision electrical cleaning operations. The remote control of the home appeared to be not sensitive to the situation. The socket plug appeared to be not sensitive to the situation. including computers. electric drives and relays, etc. You can use it to clean. Very convenient. Then clean up after these plugs. You can install the new big screen car. I bought this big screen of the car. It actually has a lot of external extension function, such as reversing camera, external USB interface, and GPS positioning. So we need to advance these things. First connected to the back of this car, then the method is actually very simple. We first pick up the GPS positioning. Then all the GPS lines are open, as long as the sticker on the car body any position on the line. So I decided to put it on the inside of the armrest box. So we put the GPS first in the armrest box, and then the line from the inside of the armrest box. In fact, can be worn directly to the back of the dashboard to wear it out after the can be taken out from the inside of this. And then you can put his interface to the back of the car machine of the GPS interface. GPS interface, so screw it on the line, okay, so you can. Next is the external USB line. I think the same is also put inside the armrest box is more reasonable. So the USB interface, first thrown to the inside of the armrest box, and that is still from this position out after it is inserted into the big screen. The back of the car machine is for pin jack. That is, this position, okay, so you can. And then the next is more troublesome. This reversing camera, this line to connect a fuse up shooting some of the branch line. First of all, to connect the camera, its signal line, that is, very long, this one, from the center console has been extended to the back of the ass of the car, this line. Then the yellow to the yellow. This is the image of the signal line. And then the next is to connect the reversing lights of the signal line. And then the next is to connect the reversing lights of the signal line. And then the next is to connect the reversing lights of the signal line. Then the next is to connect the reverse lights of the red power supply. That is, this line. This line is connected. The other end of it is an open, a positive line and negative line. Then this line is to the camera for power supply. So it can be directly connected to your reverse lights, and your reverse lights of the positive and negative lines together, and then back to the signal line this side, the signal line and then connected to the camera. This adapter plug of the car, and then finally the adapter plug of the car, and the back plane of the car is connected to the plug, okay, so that theoretically, as long as you hang the reverse gear and then the reversing camera of power, it can be apparent is in the big screen of the car. Then we now first put the reversing camera in the car's line to the cloth. Then the last thing is to put the reversing camera signal line plugged in this big screen car. And then the original radio antenna line is also plugged into the car. Okay, then the last is its power cord. Okay, so the whole car behind the line are all connected in place. Then we have to try. The car in the end cannot be. First of all, the first to the car is energized. Do not start. And then I think we can now tear off the film. The car has been direct started. I first popped up as the radio. I have heard the radio inside the sound. Very good. The radio is now completely good. And then we back to the main screen. And now casually point to a car inside the machine. This comes with the music sounds good sound. Then the last and most important is that it's the reversing image. So we are now directly hanging the reverse gear to try. Reversing the image is fully connected. And now because the rear tailgate is the most important thing, is that it's the reversing image. So we are now directly hanging the reverse gear to try. Reversing the image is already fully connected. And now, because the rear tailgate is the most important thing, is that it's the only thing that you can do to help the car. Now because our rear tailgate is open, so the reverse image is now looking at the sky. Then close the rear tailgate. The reverse image shows the screen behind the door. Very good. Then the overall connection of the car machine is completed. The next step is to reinstall it back on the line. Then reinstall it back. In fact, very simple. The large screen car with two such a bracket. So this bracket is mounted next to this, and then this way to install it on the line. So we first install this bracket to the top. In fact, is the side of the two screws, like this. Very simple. And then the screws to fix the bracket. Give it back to the reinstallation of the bracket. Here I have just tried the screws ahead of time. According to the final method of installation, I have just debuted it. This bracket now only need to fix the screws and screws. It is completely enough, and is a very positive state. So the installation here, you may need to repeatedly to adjust the height of the bracketing, and then come back to the screws are installed tight. Okay, like this. Then we need to give the interior the seams of the location of the muffler tape, because after all, it is an old car, more than 10 years old car, so the removal of the center console to the position of the seams affixed to the muffler tape can effectively avoid the future may appear in the center console rattles. The third step, the installation of the center console of the interior panel. Of course, before the installation, the interior panel of the reverse side of the don't know why it is where the stains and dust is very dirty. So you still need to clean up in advance of the location, and here belongs to the electrified, so it is best to use Precision Electrical Cleaner to it for a cleaning direct rinse on the line. Very simple. The plug position can be restarted directly, and then reinserted the interior panel. The back of the plug or a double flashlight plug. Resistance meter plug, air conditioning airflow plug, air conditioning panel plug-in, air conditioning temperature plug. And finally, we can be directly to the center console of the interior panel. To it to reboot. Press back a total of 4 snaps directly after the location of all the snaps aligned. And then press hard to the inside of a line. Okay, so the installation of the center control screen is completed. And finally, we come back to test the working status of the car machine. First of all, to the car power. Start very smooth. Then upgrade it after the large screen. The car can now have more features such as Bluetooth connection, and then video playback, including the map of the navigation itself, and screen and other functions, including reverse camera. These operating experience add up to them before they do not know where to go. So this video if you can help you do it yourself. Your old car to upgrade a large screen car machine, then the program forwarded to share with your friends, and help me to point out a praise. If you want to get more do-it-yourself maintenance, if you want to get more do-it-yourself car posture, pay attention to me. We will see you next time. Bye.